Alright, we should be live, and I'll just wait a couple of minutes to see if people join the stream. Maybe see if someone will keep me good company as we will watch Tier 6 compete in round 3 of Season 15 around a very wet Suzuka track. Alright, well, as we're looking at round 3, quick look at the top of the standings so far. In the championship, in first place, we have JP with 69 points. In second place, we have Orak with 68 points, only 1 point behind. And on third place, we have Doslayer with 56 points. So it's pretty tight after the first 2 rounds. The next positions are actually tied on 43 points each, so there's a lot to fight for, and no one is taking a big leap forward so far after the first races. For round 3, we have a race around Suzuka in the wet, and let's just see how qualifying went. In 16th position, we have Zelda, GSR, IGF in 15th place, Boyan is in 14th place with the Porsche, his teammate Ayrton Jenna. 13th place on the grid, 12th place for Rico, 11th place for Rocket. I believe this is Rocket's first race in AOR, I might be wrong on that. Inorganic takes 10th place, Lavdon is in 9th, Danos in 8th place, Krakow is 7th, Danger Mouse in 6th, Lord Hands takes 5th position, Chaos Druid is in 4th place, JP, our championship leader so far, is in 3rd place, Orak in 2nd place, and in 1st place we have Jaden. So without further ado, let's get started with a wet race around Suzuka. We have 4-star for Orak, and the lights are off and away they go. A couple of interesting moves there after the false start, bit of a hard start for a couple of the drivers. Orak falls down to 5th place, Danger Mouse managed to overtake him, and Danger Mouse actually moves on the inside of Lord Hands into 3rd position. JP has moved into 2nd place after Orak's false start, and Jaden is still holding on to 1st position. No big accidents at the start. We see Jaden is leading the race, but he's on the soft tires, so he's expecting the track to dry out pretty quick. JP is stuck on him on the intermediate tires, already heading around the outside, and manages to just squeeze past, and he should be clear to open up a gap now using those intermediate tires. In 3rd place, Danger Mouse also on the intermediate tires, as well as Orak. Orak sends it on the inside of Danger Mouse, but a switchback from Danger Mouse, and he keeps 3rd position. Going a bit down the grid, we see Zelda actually managed a fantastic start up to this point. That's unfortunate, so let's go back and see just a little bit how Zelda managed to get into 7th position from last on the grid. So a lot of cars just couldn't get started in between, and even before the first corner, Zelda is actually in 7th position. Intermediate tires for him, and yeah, that seems to have made it work. Let's have a quick look behind. Quite a few cars are on the soft tires, and that's probably how Zelda managed to make such a big advantage there. Let's have a quick look down through the hairpin with these drivers. They're on the soft tires, and they've really dropped off after the first corners. The only one keeping pace is Aura. Not Aura, sorry, Jaden is keeping pace on the soft tires. Yeah, the soft runners are just falling a bit behind the leaders. Zelda had the unfortunate moment, and let's see, it should be a fairly safe rejoin here. Nothing too bad to happen, and unfortunately falls into 2nd to last place as we have someone off the track. Let's see who was the unfortunate driver here. Airtown Jenna, was there a bit of contact there? So Airtown Jenna and Rocket are side by side. They are passing around Zelda's yellow flag. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, on the brakes, Airtown Jenna just spins it in the wet part of the track with the soft tires. So moving forwards, let's see how our leaders are keeping up. Danger Mouse chasing Jaden for 2nd place, and still keeping Oran behind. Oran taking a look down the inside and manages to get it stopped and go past his teammate to make up a position back to 3rd place. So far we see Jaden as the only softs runner that is able to keep up. Fantastic race from Jaden so far in the race, the only soft runner to be keeping up with the intermediate drivers. Aurak and Danger Mouse fighting in between themselves are very much losing time to JP. Boyan up into 7th place, Rico is in 6th place, and Lorhans is in 5th place, keeping up with the pace. So this little pack here has managed to keep the pace. JP hasn't exactly gotten to open up a gap to Jaden, so if there's no more rain on the track, Jaden will be the big winner here in the sprint race. Lap 2 of 8, so let's see how they navigate the hairpin. Nice and clean so far, a bit of a wide moment with the exit by Danger Mouse, nothing too dangerous. And in the back we see Lorhans losing a position to Rico. Boyan has fallen off a bit of them, and then the soft runners behind still having a few moments. Loved on there, got the soft tires on the wet part of the track and just couldn't navigate through the hairpin. Looking at the lead again, the track has started to dry. It's nearly ready for soft tires, perfect conditions. At least there's definitely a dry line in there. The intermediate drivers are still keeping good pace, but JP is not able to pull away, and JP goes into the pits to get off the intermediate tires. Could be the wisest choice here. Danger Mouse and Lorhans also follow him into the pits. So now Jaden is released. The track should be good for the soft tires, and Aurak is chasing behind on the intermediates, perhaps stayed out a lap too long on those intermediate tires, but we'll see if the weather will be on his side or not. Lap 3 of 8, great race from Jaden so far. Managed to get it started on the soft tires, stay up there, keep up with JP, and is now in the lead. Boyan up into 4th place after the intermediate drivers pitting, and Krakovelli now into 5th place, trying to catch up ground. So let's be where our leaders came out of the pits. JP in 8th place, inherits 7th after Inorganic has a wide moment. Danger Mouse now in 8th position as well. So we'll be able to see JP has already caught up to the back of Rocket. As we seem to have quite a bit of spread of cars across the track, something to be absolutely expected in these conditions. Bit of a wide moment there from Rocket. Let's go back and just see, was there any contact there between them? So JP is hot on his tail in the slipstream and definitely has better pace over those intermediate tires. Yeah, just a wide moment for Rocket, and JP goes past. Thank you for the position. Keeps pushing forward. Danger Mouse is next in line to try and catch up and pass Rocket. As further up the field, we see Jaden still in 1st position. Has a bit of a gap over Aurak. Perhaps just over a second, judging by the lap times. But Aurak still staying out on those intermediate tires. The track is entirely dry on the racing line, so I'm not sure his tires will be able to survive. It would be interesting to see what happens with him throughout the race. Further back, Danger Mouse has not yet caught up to Rocket. JP is pressing onwards, trying to catch up Boyan, who is still out on those intermediate tires. Let's have a quick look at the back of the grid. Chaos Druid in 16, and quite a long way forward. Zelda is in 15th place and is now fighting Daniels for 14th position. Both of these on the soft tires, and Zelda has the inside line. Manages to get it stopped for the first corner and takes 14th position. Lord Hans fell down to 13th position. I suspect they had a hard time putting on the softs after jumping on the pits, and probably had a moment and dropped positions. Lovedon in 12th, IGF in 11th. Rocket fell down to 10th place and has a bit of damage. Let's have a quick look what happened to Rocket. So from 7th position on the intermediate tires, cannot get it stopped and goes across the track, gets some front end damage for good measure. JP managed to get past Boyan, is now up into 5th place. So pressing onwards, trying to recover the positions after pitting for the soft tires. Krakovelli quite a long ways forwards, slowly but surely catching up to Rico on the intermediate tires. So Rico is doing good to keep good pace with these intermediate tires, but the track is entirely dry, so I'm not sure how that will work. Aurak has a bit of a wide moment there, but yeah, an interesting fact, Aurak's intermediate tires seem to be in a better condition than Jada's soft tires on this dry track. So Orak is definitely onto something here and is able to keep pace only 0.2 of a second slower on that last lap. Let's have a quick look on the start-finish straight. Danger Mouse is all over Boyan. Gets prepared to take that inside line, but is too far back on this occasion. Not able to do anything. Has a bit of a white moment there across the wet curbs, but manages to keep nice and tidy. But further behind, Inorganic, pretty close to Airtown Jenna. Both of them have a bit of a hard time slowing down for these first corners. Nothing dangerous comes out of it. As we see, Danger Mouse get past Boyan and take 6th position. A bit further up, see Rico has caught up to Krakow a bit, but JP reached him and made quick work of him. Gets 4th position, so let's see how that happens. Gets the inside line, manages to keep it on the track here. Able to go off the curbs in time to brake, and 4th position it is for JP, as he is definitely on a charge to get back to the lead of the race. Our top two cars still as they were losing a lot of tire wear in that AMG. It's interesting to see. Should be able to win the 8 laps, but it's very interesting that Orak behind him has such good tires. With the intermediates on, they should be essentially dying on the dry track, but manages to keep them alive and keep good pace. Only a 10.5 off of his best lap so far. Look now at JP, has his sights set on Tracker Valley, both of them on the soft tires, pretty much at the same time there. As JP says, the fastest lap of the race so far. For this battle, JP is now very close to Tracker Valley. It'll be interesting to see if he makes something happen. As you see, Jaden must have had a wide moment somewhere, as Orak is all over the back of him on the intermediate tires. Impressive bit by Orak by all means. But Unit is able to keep up with Jaden. I'm not sure he will survive the soft runners quickly catching up behind him. So that's a 4-5 seconds difference just on the last lap between JP and Orak. Heard some tire screeches. Let's see what happened. Has a wide moment, couldn't get it stopped, and into the gravel they go as Krakow and JP go past and start chasing down JP for the lead of the race. Orak, despite that spin, still in 4th place with a healthy margin, further back to Danger Mouse and Rico, so Orak is still in a very good position despite those tires. Let's see what happened here. JP is in 3rd place where we last left him, chasing down Krakow and Jaden. You see Krakow is very close to Jaden, as Jaden has a bit of a moment there on the brakes, and they both go past Jaden. Jaden's tires do not look good in any way, especially in the front. Having a really hard time, and I'm starting to think he won't make it through the last laps on these tires. Let's have a look at our Aero for the lead, the BMW chasing down the RX version. Just a bit over a second advantage for JP on the last lap in terms of timings. On this one, we see another 4/10 advantage for JP. Definitely catching up to Braccavelli. Goes on the inside, a bit ambitious, thinks better of it. And now he'll have to look at the rear end of that Mazda through the first twisty sector. Very close through these turns. The tire wear on both these cars looks very good. Both of them improving on their times from the first sector. As you see JP have a bit of a look on the inside, thinks better of it, and unfortunately lost a bit of space to Braccavelli. Quick look further down, Danger Mouse has managed to catch up to Aurak. Aurak still on those intermediate tires, and Rico has fallen down to 7th position on his intermediate tires. As we rejoin our top 2 contenders fighting for the sprint win, JP is again very close through the back straight here on Braccavelli. Has extremely good slipstream. The BMW has a lot of overspeed, and as they go through 130R, see easy work for JP. Gets the inside line, manages to go past, and we'll be able to see now what we'll be able to achieve in the clean air now on these soft tires. Further back, Jaden's tires are really dropping off. He has lost a lot of time to the leaders and is actually being caught up by Danger Mouse and Aurak as well, despite Aurak still being on those intermediate tires. So Danger Mouse overtook his teammate and took 4th position. Jaden will have to manage the front left tire for this final lap of the sprint race. Braccavelli just a little bit drops off of the back of JP. Danger Mouse managed to catch up to Jaden, keeping up with him in the first sector of the track. Bit of a contact there. Not sure that was reported or not, but nothing too bad came out of it. As we see Jaden struggling for grip with the worn tires, and Danger Mouse just trying to find a place to overtake. Able to have a look on the outside, manages to get the position long before slowing down for the hairpin as Danger Mouse grabs hold of the last podium position. See if anyone else will be able to take advantage of a situation in the final lap of the sprint race. JP has opened a good gap after taking the lead once again. Managed to go a couple of laps on the intermediates, put on the softs, and then battle through the order to come through the final corners for one last time and take a commanding win here in the Suzuka Sprint. Braccavelli comes into 2nd place. Fantastic drive from them. Danger Mouse had a bit of a hard time at the start it seemed, but manages to recover nicely to take 3rd position. Jaden just barely survives with the tires through the sprint race, takes 4th position. Aurak, fantastic drive from Aurak on the intermediates for 6 fully dry laps, manages manages to keep 5th position. Airtown Jenna up into 6th, Lovedown 7th, Lord Hans takes 8th place, Zelda 9th place after starting in last position, so that's a very good finish by Zelda. Rico takes 10th position, IGF in 11th. Dana's rounds the final corner to take 12th place. Boyan had a bit of a moment there, damage on the front left tire. On the intermediate tires, manages to take it home in 13th place. As we see, cows through it, rounding out the final corner, takes 14th position, and our last two finishers at the sprint race are Inorganic in 15th and Rocket in 16th position. As we finish the sprint race, interesting race, I'd say, or definitely impressed with managing the intermediate tires there throughout the sprint race. And yeah, Jaden and Krakovelli managed to do good work with the soft tires after pitting, managed to fight through a lot of cars to get those top 2 positions in the sprint race. Didn't see too many dangerous moments throughout the track and throughout the race. There were a few off moments, breaking in the wet lines, especially with soft tires, but other than that, quite an eventful race, a lot of overtakes. So let's see how these drivers will manage the feature race here around Suzuka. As we're nearly prepared to head into it. For the feature race, we're having reverse grid of the top 10 cars, and this time it will be a rolling start. The weather conditions should be different from the sprint, so it'll be interesting to see what happens throughout this race. And interesting to see what the tires selections will be across the grid. So we'll have a look at that now. Let's start from the back. Zelda in the back again. Did Zelda have a qualifying ban for this race? I don't see another reason to start from the back in the feature race after what we saw in the sprint, so I will go ahead and assume it was a quali ban. Racing medium tires, Rocket intermediate tires in 15th position. Inorganic chose the intermediate tires, so has Chaos Druid, Boyan, Danas. Why is IGF in 10th position? I'm confused. This is the correct grid order. Well, I will go with what I see on the grid. Aha, that makes perfect sense. Thank you, Lord Hands. I did not realize that, and you've really helped me out. So because Zelda moved down to the back of the grid due to the qualifying ban, we have IGF in 10th place. JP is starting from 9th instead of 10th. And let's see, up to IGF, everyone is on the intermediate tires. JP chose the racing medium tires, so has Crackavelli. Danger Mouse on the intermediates, Jaden as well, Orak as well. He's probably hoping to get a lot of tire life again from those. Airdown Jenna on the racing softs, starting in 4th place, so that will be interesting to see how many laps he'll be able to get out of these tires. Lovedon on the intermediates. Lord Hands starts on the racing softs in the front row, 2nd position, and in 1st place we have Rico on the intermediate tires. So a lot of variety here in the tires for the start of the feature race, and let's go and see what these drivers will make out of 20 laps around Suzuka. Lord Hands has a very bad start on soft tires there. Let's try and see what happened. Is it just wheel spin on the wet? I see you thought you were on inters. That's very unfortunate. So we have a very bad start from Lord Hands. Boyan, I don't know what Boyan is doing there. He has a lot of damage. So Boyan started from the corner, a bit of a lag there from some cars. Yeah, that seemed like quite a few lags in there and cars crashing into each other. As we will have a look at what's happening in the front. Nico has managed to keep 1st position, Lovedon into 2nd position, and Orak already in 3rd position. Having a look, gets past Lovedon, and yeah, manages to grab 2nd position off of Lovedon, as Jaden is now looking to try and overtake Lovedon as well. Already having a look at Rico, managed to close that gap quickly, but had a bit of a wide moment through the corner, and now into the chicane they go. We see Jaden taking a very wide line, tries to switch back on Lovedon, but just doesn't have the corner exit to make something happen out of it. Both of them have the intermediate tires, as we see Orak chasing down Rico. So the top 5 cars have pulled away a lot. We see Kelsroyd in 6th place, a bit of a gap further back to Inorganic. Zelda already in 9th place after that start of race on the medium tires, so this is looking good. If the weather permits it, Zelda will be very happy with the tire selection. I don't know if it will rain later, so it'll be interesting to see. Going further down the grid, Crackavelli not having a good time in 13th position with the medium tires. Everyone has a bit of a look there. No one does much of it. And we managed to catch our down Jenna in a not very productive spin on 130R there. So let's go ahead and see our top 5 cars have pulled away quite a lot from everyone else. Orak fell to 4th position, so let's see where did we miss that. So on the back straight, Orak is ahead of Lovedon. Lovedon is all over him at 130R. Yeah, Lovedown goes aggressive on the inside of 130R, and because of that, Oracle loses a position to Jaden as well. Tries to grab the inside, bit of argy-bargy there, and again, it's pretty much as they were, and now on the straight, the Mercedes does have a lot better acceleration and is able to grab third place of Aero, who, not giving it up, stays in the slipstream, has a look inside, thinks better of it. As up ahead we see Lovedown trying to find a way past Rico. They took very different lines across those corners. So let's stay here a bit. Lovedown had a wide moment there, loses traction, and this has allowed Jaden and Orak to really close in on him through this section of the track. As we can see, we're keeping it nice and clean. Bit of contact there, but didn't seem too bad. I'm not sure if this was reported. Orak managed to take third place off of Jaden, who couldn't quite stop it in time there, and a bit of a push for Orak. Not sure if that would have been in the steward's room. I would assume so. And Danger Mouse, the big winner off of that, takes third position. Lovedown still trying to catch up to Rico. Jaden not letting Danger Mouse go by as easy, and Orak tries to regain again. All of this has pretty much allowed Kjellsrud to catch up to these guys in front of him. So a quick look, our top seven drivers are all on the intermediates. Zelda in that place is using the medium tires. PP still in 9th position, so not much movement there. The track seems to have dried out enough for the slick tires to start working better than the intermediates if they manage to keep it clean. Lordhan's 14th position. As we see both Danger Mouse and Orak into the pits to get off the intermediate tires, so that's a good choice there. Orak has 3-second penalty coming out of the pits. Must have been on A3, and Danger Mouse opted for the medium tires, and Orak has chosen to go on the soft tires, and they are in 14th and 15th place respectively. So we'll see how they'll manage the traffic now. A bit further back we see Zelda and Herrick 5th place. Kjellsrud is now in 4th after the pits, and Lovedown tries the outside line on Rico in the hairpin, has a better exit but not enough track to make a move stick, is being shown the outside by Rico. Gets the inside line, and both of them are off the track. Lovedown manages to keep the position. Rico still with the dirty tires, barely keeps it on track. And we have a new race leader. Lovedown in 1st position, still on the intermediate tires. Kjellsrud has really closed in on them, and Zelda and Jaden are now I'm not sure how Jaden fell back to 5th position, but we see Zelda in 4th place together with Jaden chasing Kjellsrud. So both Lovedown and Rico pit to get off the intermediate tires. Kjellsrud inherits the race lead, and JP is now up into 4th place on the medium tires. Seems to be going well so far for him. As we see Zelda have a wide moment there. Was there some contact, or was it just contact on the outside of the corner? Let's see. Didn't look quite like it on this camera, but it's possible that there might have been something, so it'll be interesting to see if that somehow made it to the steward, as JP takes full advantage of that, goes past Jaden and takes 2nd position in the race. The track is now absolutely completely dry. I think Chaos Druid stayed out 1 or 2 laps too long on the intermediate tires. His tires are pretty much dead now, and the track is almost absolutely dry. So the top 4 cars pretty much Lannister here. As we head into the chicane, JP barely gets it stopped for the hairpin, I'm sorry, and yeah, they're all over the back together with Zelda, all over the back of Chaos Druid. Will they try a move? Let's see, a lot of overspeed shown the outside as Chaos Druid goes defensive. They go 3 wide as Zelda goes through the inside, and that was a fantastic move by all of these drivers to actually keep it clean. Let's see what happens. JP is being shown the outside. Chaos Druid squeezes to the outside as Zelda says thank you very much, grabs the inside line and doesn't look bad. JP seals the move as well, but is still in 2nd position as Zelda is the big winner off of what we saw there. So the tire condition on Zelda and JP is absolutely identical. Tire wear, Chaos Druid and Jaden opted to finally take off the intermediate tires. Braccavelli inherits 3rd place on the mediums, and Lovedon on the softs is in 4th place. Aurak on the soft tires back into 5th place, and Danger Mouse was ahead of Aurak, so must have had a moment there. There's a rather big gap in between them, so unfortunate for Danger Mouse there. As we jump forward, have a look at the fight for the lead, there's a bit of a gap between them, and I shall take this opportunity to have a look further down the grid. Rico opted for the soft tires, is trying to chase down Danger Mouse. Chaos Druid came out on the mediums in 8th position. Jaden, I think Jaden made a mistake and put on intermediate tires again, has a 3-second penalty for the pit line, most probably. Lord Hands into 10th place, being chased by Inorganic, who just pit, and Airtown Jenna is stuck behind him on aging soft tires. Quick look further down. IJF, Rocket and Boyan are trying to fight for 13th position. There's a bit of distance in between them, but they're still pretty close. And in last place we have Danos on the hard tires, which is an interesting choice to see. Bit of a gap in between Zelda and JP. Let's see what they did. So Zelda on that last lap managed to open up 0.7 of a second gap more on JP. Braccavelli looks to be in a lonely third position right now as he finishes lap 6 of 20. R3 enjoying 4th place after being able to get past London. And our closest battle so far seems to be Rico being a bit stuck behind Danger Mouse on the faster tires, allowing a bit of an opportunity for Chaos Druid to catch up to them. So let's see how that develops as we're keeping an eye on the fight for the first place as well. Bit of a dangerous moment there by Rico across the corner, but manages to keep it on the track and still very close behind Danger Mouse. A lot more traction on the soft tires. Let's see. It seems I've just missed. Oh, sorry, that's my bad. I thought I missed an overtake, but that's my mistake. So Rico fell behind a bit after the hairpin. So a bit of a gap there and breathing space for Danger Mouse before the back straight. As we'll quickly jump forward and see in our fart for the lead. JB has managed to gain about half a second on Zelda in that lap alone. Still a bit of a gap in between the two, so it'll be interesting to see what will happen. Absolutely identical tires. Alright, definitely closing in on Crackavelli. I'd say Crackavelli just dropped off the pace of the leaders. His last lap was at 2:06 and Orak has been doing 2:03s, so catching up 3 seconds per lap. It's a big difference, but Orak is on the soft tires. We'll definitely have to pit again. Rico must have had a moment there somewhere because he's lost the position to Chaos Druid, who is now very close to Danger Mouse. Having a look further down, everyone is a bit spread out as we go through the field. Jaden on soft tires now. I think he's actually pitted again. To get off those intermediates, who surely must have been a mistake when doing the pit. And it seems that our closest battle for the moment would be, well, either Chaos Druid trying to catch up to Danger Mouse or Orak closing in on Crackavelli. It'll be interesting to see what the difference will be in this lap. Orak has definitely closed the gap, but the soft tires on that McLaren are nearing the end of their life for sure, whereas Crackavelli isn't even halfway on the medium tires, so these two cars are very different strategies here. Not close enough to trouble him in the first corner, as we see Chaos Druid on the pit straight, grabs the inside line, has the overspeed and gets past Danger Mouse. given the space, nice and clean for both of them. It'll be interesting to see now if Kezur will be able to drive off. It seems we missed an overtake here, so let's see what happened. Crackavelli just couldn't stop it in time. Probably had a bit of a moment. Let's see. What happened here? It seems nice and good. Yeah, just a bit of a white moment, and Orak just says thank you very much. Takes third place off of him. And it'll be interesting to see now with the soft tire where if he'll be able to make any gap at all, but for sure Orak lost a bit of time behind Crackavelli. Considering the different strategies, of course. Zelda managed to increase the gap a bit by about a second on the last lap to JP, so has a bit of breathing room. Perhaps JP had a bit of a moment on the last lap and just fell back a little bit. So these two are pretty much lapping identical times. Crackavelli not letting go of third position all over the back of that McLaren. As they head onto the back straight, there should be a huge advantage for the Mazda as we see Lovedon have a bad moment, goes off track and unfortunately loses 3 positions due to this one mistake. Into the final chicane. It seems to be raining, perhaps. I see wipers on. And Orak goes into the pits to get out these soft tires. Crackavelli goes into the pits as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So there is a bit of rain on the track for sure, but nothing to warrant intermediate tires immediately. Let's see what tires these cars will come out on and where they would be. Started to rain a lot heavier now, definitely in intermediate territory. JP has dropped off of the back of Zelda. Kelswood very far back into third place, and Orak has made choice to come out on the intermediate tires in fourth position. Crackavelli, intermediates as well, penalty for the pit line for good measure, so that's definitely ruining his race a bit. And it seems that almost everyone pits as we see Boyan absolutely stuck on the pit entry. What happened there, Boyan? Is this your glory moment here? Loses the end, fantastic 360 and hello tire wall. I have seen this in a few movies. Yeah, that's rather unfortunate for Boyan. Not going to lie, I will not shame him any more than needed. As we see, Zelda had a bit of a moment. Let's see what happened. Not just Zelda, it seems. So heading into the hairpin on the right-hander, no traction at all for those tires. JP suffers from exactly the same fate as Zelda tries to drift it through the hairpin. JP takes a very unorthodox line through the grass, comes out, and I have never in my life seen such an overtake. Fantastic, fantastic. I would have probably reported that to the stewards, to be honest. That was definitely an overtake off track. But it seems Gran Turismo thinks both of them did it clean through there. No penalties for them. And a definite highlight moment as Zelda loses traction again. JP grabs a 5-second penalty. And the soft tires are not having fun here as Orak is now into third place, enjoying the weather on the intermediate tires in the McLaren, very rapidly closing in on the lead cars. Crackavelli must... oh, that's probably still the pit line. Penalty, Chaos Druid living an ambitious life on the racing medium tires there. And Danger Mouse not able to quite catch up as JP goes into the pits, hopefully for intermediate tires, as we see Zelda try and navigate the final chicane. On the brakes, the car says no thank you, I would rather not make any turns. As Orak is probably wondering what's happening, but is happy to see second position just in his sights. So Zelda jumps into the pits, hopefully for intermediates as well, and we'll see where these cars will come out. Chaos Druid goes into the pits as we see JP with his 5-second penalty came out in 5th position. Orak has a nice healthy buffer in 1st place, should be cruising now. I was going to say cruising to the victory, but this is only lap 10 out of 20, so I can't imagine how much more we'll see. As I saw something interesting here, let's see what happened. So Lord Hand spins it, Boyan decides to try synchronized spinning with the BMW. Definitely the Porsche had better spins there. I would award it 8 out of 10. And let's see what happens. I think there were a few more spins. Yes, Airtown Jenna decides to join his teammate in on the fun, as IGF is definitely confused there. Going up through the order, Crackavelli has a nice look at JP. For 2nd place, JP will have to serve a very painful 5-second penalty there. As we see, our race leader has a very healthy buffer up in front. And if it stays intermediate tires, whether I'm absolutely sure Orak has it sealed and should be able to take the win unless something very dramatic happens. Having a quick look at our closest battle here. As you see, Rico chasing down Danger Mouse. Zelda has a 3.5 second penalty. If I had to guess, I'd say that's half a second for corner cutting and 3 seconds for the pit lane. Perhaps won't lose any positions off of it, as we have a yellow flag. Why did we have a yellow flag? So JP is penalized, serves this penalty. Crackavelli inherits 2nd position, and we see Boyan with blue flags decides to park it up on the chicane, lets everyone through, nice and clean, doesn't want to interfere with the race, I guess. As we see, Ayrton Senna just came out of the pits actually, I suppose onto intermediate tires. Lordhand's not having a fun time in 14th position right now, so that rain perhaps surprised a few of the drivers and they lost out just because of track position and tire selection. JP, despite that 5-second penalty, is very close on Craccavelli and probably wants to take back that second position. Right behind him, Rico is still chasing Danger Mouse. Danger Mouse hasn't been able to open up a gap, and we see Zelda trying to catch up to the back of them, as well as Lovedon. So let's have a quick look at our race leader, about to lap the 13th position car, enjoying life in the McLaren on the intermediate tires, as we saw him have a good time with them in the sprint race as well. Let's see how JP manages to overtake Craccavelli. Both of them on the intermediate tires. Brave on the brakes on the inside, is given the space and says thank you very much and takes second position back off of Craccavelli. Interesting to see now if Craccavelli is able to keep up with JP, as we have a bit of a mixed field, as most of these cars are catching up to back markers. JP opted to jump into the pits. It'll be interesting to see what for. Perhaps wants to put on slick tires. Danger Mouse as well as Alright keeps pumping in laps on the intermediate, something we saw in the sprint race as well. Craccavelli has a bit of a wide moment in turn 2. I'm sorry, Rico has a bit of a wide moment, and that's allowed their teammate Zelda to catch up and have a look at an overtake for third position. Side by side through these twisty bits. As they got past a back marker as well for good measures, but managed to keep it clean. Let's see, will Zelda fancy a move into the hairpin here? Not close enough this time around. Gets a good exit though. We'll see if they'll be able to make anything out of it. So Zelda now right onto the back of Rico on the back straight here. Should get very good slipstream and should be able to get a nice overtake. It doesn't happen. They keep it clean. I think maybe Zelda just didn't want to go for the move, as we see Orak and Krakavelli jump into the pits. Zelda jumps into the pits as well, most probably to get off these intermediate tires, as the track is now way drier. And let's see, JP is able to take second position on the medium tires, so definitely able to finish this race on these tires unless it rains again. So JP has made a very strong call there with beating on the previous laps, able to undercut, all of these cars. Well, I say all of them, I mean just Orak. But there was a large gap in between the two cars, so a very strong undercut for sure by JP. Orak has a 3-second pit line penalty, which will bring him closer to Krakavelli, but definitely not going to lose the position on this lap, as we see, or maybe just missed, Rico on the intermediate tires being overtaken by JP. Also, Rico had a wide moment there and actually lets him through to safely rejoin. Orak has caught up a bit, but that 3-second penalty will hurt his chances of catching up for a couple more laps. So the intermediate tires on Rico really suffering here. Orak trying not to lose too much time on the soft tires out again, so that's impressive. It'll be interesting to see if Orak is able to reach the end of the race on these tires, or is he betting on more rain and perhaps another pit. As he serves his penalty, Rico takes back second position, and JP is now cruising alone in the lead of the race. Let's have a bit of a look further down. So Zelda is now in 6th place on the medium tires, Lavdon on the soft tires. Rico from 3rd place decides to get off the intermediates, probably a lap or two too late. Jaden, fully dead, front intermediate tires, surely about to head into the pits to change tires. I very much hope so. Yeah, and Inorganic follows as well to get off those tires. IGF seems to be the last car on intermediates. Lord Hands pretending to be in P2. Doing alright if we close our eyes and forget the position. As we have missed here an overtake by Orak on Krakavelli. Krakavelli on the soft tires, Orak as well, so just better pace off of Orak, I guess, on these slick tires on the dry line. It is hard to keep it perfectly clean on a dry line like this, so I would have to assume that's most of where people are losing time, just putting two wheels on the wet part and not being able to brake as good as they expect for corners. As we see JP go through the chicane and about to start lap 15 of 20, has a nice healthy buffer over second position. Let's have a bit of look further down the line what's happening. Zelda in 5th position. A lot of breathing room to Lovedon, who is on the soft tires in 6th. Rico's 7th place after pitting and putting on the soft tires. Kyo's Stewart in 8th on the mediums. Jaden put on the soft tires, and it'll be interesting to see if Jaden will be able to make it to the end of the race on them, considering the tire wear he had in the sprint race. Rocket and Inorganic involved in a fight for 10th place. Rocket actually has a nice look on the inside of the chicane, but thinks better of it, decides not to dive bomb in any way. As we see the two GSR drivers in 12th and 13th position. Airtown, Jenna and Boyan round out the final 2 positions of the grid. Yes, I think this must have been a record for number of pit stops for Jaden. He did have that pit where I hope mistakenly he put on intermediate tires. As we see JP catching up to back markers, slow and steady. Orak a long way further back in 2nd place, and Krakavelli trying to keep up with him in 3rd position. Danger Mouse chasing down Krakavelli, but all these cars are pretty spread out. There's a few seconds in between all of them. Kyle Stewart and Jaden seems to be the closest fight, so let's keep an eye on them for the moment. Be interesting to see if Kazurit is able to actually catch up to Jaden through these laps. So it's hard to tell, but I think Jaden is actually pulling away a little bit from Kyosuit. So let's see if further up we've had any developments. So other than JP clearing a couple of back markers, we see someone either have a wide moment or just intentionally go off and make room for the lead cars to pass them. We still see a very big gap between the top 2 cars. Krakavelli a few seconds behind Orak now. It looks like Orak is just making that gap a little bit bigger every lap. Danger Mouse perhaps barely catching up to Krakavelli, still as they were a lap ago. Nearly identical times actually. Just a 1/10 of a second difference in between Krakavelli and Danger Mouse. As Zelda has definitely caught up 2 seconds faster lap here than Danger Mouse. Finding some pace now that the track is dry as IGF goes off the line to let Zelda through. As Jaden has set the fastest lap of the race at 2:02.5, which is pretty good, making use of those soft tires. Did already 3 laps on them, maybe 4, and 4 to go, so it'll be interesting to see if they survive. Jaden did have a very high tire wear in the sprint race. So the top 5 are pretty much as they were. Perhaps Aurak lost a bit of ground. It's really hard to tell. But all these cars have a healthy gap in between each other as they're navigating through some lapped cars here. I have to say all of the lapped cars are actually very careful in moving out of the way, so it's good to see that they're not impeding or affecting the race in any significant way. I've not seen anyone take any huge advantage of lapped cars or have moments with them. As we see now, Zelda all over Danger Mouse, so Zelda seems to be the only car on track that's gaining ground on the other cars. Lapping in the 203s, which is very good in that GTR. And all over the back of Danger Mouse now, so we'll stick with this fight for the moment as they head into the hairpin. Very close, but has a bit of a look, thinks better of it. Decides to make use of the slipstream. Having a bit of a look forward for the moment. JP's tires seem to be quite happy with their tire life. Aurak, I think, might be able to make the final 2 laps on these tires, but pace will definitely suffer, and Krakowi's soft tires are not at all happy with the fact that they need to do 2 more laps. As we will, for the moment, stay on with Zelda trying to chase down Danger Mouse. So these two seem to be very close, so they caught up about half a second on that last lap. As they are very close to the first couple of corners. As we're on the penultimate lap here. All over the back of Danger Mouse through these corners, so they're keeping it nice and clean here. It would seem that Zelda has the pace to overtake Danger Mouse and is hopefully just selecting a good position to do it. Has a bit of a look on the inside in the hairpin, but stays behind for the moment. As they head onto the back straight now, Zelda stars seem to be in a very good condition. Danger Mouses are better, but it does seem that Zelda has far better pace on these medium tires, for the moment at least. They both seem to be catching up a bit to Cracker Valley. As we see a yellow flag somewhere. Someone is sitting and waiting, probably a lapped car. But this has allowed Zelda to really get on the back of Danger Mouse, goes on the inside of the start finish straight, and on the final lap makes a move on the inside line of turn 1, grabs the position, bit wide on the exit, but manages to keep the position, and Zelda actually overtook Valley as well. So let's have a look at what happened here. So far ahead enough, as you see, yeah, Valley's tires are just absolutely dead, and Zelda makes easy work of passing. Bit of a moment between Danger Mouse and Valley. I don't think there was any ill intention there, probably just the dead tires not being compliant at all in terms of grip levels. Quick look further up, Aurak is not having fun with those tires, but has a sizable gap to Zelda. Should be able to keep the position unless any mistakes are made. So Zelda bite his time and chose a good spot to take a position off of Danger Mouse, manages to seal the deal and is able to open up a bit of a gap and breathe nice and calm. As we see, Lord Hands unlapping himself from Aurak. Nice and clean, love to see it. And Aurak is probably saying thank you very much for the slipstream right now. As we join our leader for one last time across the final corner, JP takes the feature win as well, and it's a double win for JP here at Suzuka. Fantastic performance, managed to make very good strategy choices when it started raining. Aurak takes a fantastic second place, manages to finish on those soft tires. Zelda comes home in third place, and Danger Mouse comes home in fourth place as it starts raining. We see Valley take fifth place. Rico tries to survive these final corners. It's intermediate tires already, but these cars will have to finish on their soft tires, or rather at least on their slick tires. Very careful through the chicane, and rounds out the final corner for a fantastic performance to take sixth place. Jaden, nearly dead soft tires, takes seventh place and the fastest lap. Lovedown comes home in 8th place. Chaos Druid takes 9th place. Inorganic lapping in the final corners, about to lap Airtown Jenna. Brings it home in 10th place. As we see Rocket not having a good time in 11th place though, so takes 11th place despite having to drive a bit more to finish the race. And we see 12th place Lord Hands, 13 Danas, IGF in 14, Airtown Jenna 15, and Boyan 16th place for him. So this has been an exhausting race to commentate. Nearly constantly something was happening. Bit bigger gaps than what I would have hoped, but that's what the rain does to you. And for sure, JP, Aurak and Zelda managed to do fantastic decisions on the strategy there, and they had the advantage of being in the right place when the rain hit. So, as Suzuka has now finished, I will just quickly have a look at the standings post Suzuka and see where that leaves us. So as I mentioned, JP took his first double win. Fantastic performance in the lead now with 109 points after round 3. 13 point behind we have Orak with 96 points. Bit further back, Zelda with 79 points. Danger Mouse in 4th position with 71. And Crackavelli, I believe, Super Cracker in 5th place with 45 points. So managed to open up a bit of a gap there, JP. And yeah, interesting results from the 3rd round here. In the constructors, the McLaren team is actually in 1st place with 167 points. BMW M6 team in 2nd place, and the GTRs are in 3rd place. And there's all to play for in the constructors as well. I would like to thank you very much for joining me as we had a look at this rain-filled race, and I hope you join me next time as well when we'll have a look at round 4 across Watkins Glen. Thank you and good night.